Hello everyone, I'm Sharpedo43 once again bringing you all another Wi-Fi battle. My opponent for it is going to be AceTrainerLiam, and this battle is actually not going to be a Smogon battle because I think AceTrainerLiam said that he doesn't really do tiers. Actually, I don't even think I even asked him that. I just asked him, are there any bans? And he said no, which pretty much means I can use literally whatever the heck I want. So I was just like, okay, this guy clearly doesn't do tiers because he never mentioned Smogon whatsoever, so I was just like, okay. I just wanted to battle him because he was like the only guy that was actually streaming battles for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and I was like, yeah, we'll definitely do it because, you know, it's not often that I get any battles on Twitch anymore because a lot of people are focused with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee at this point, so, and a lot of people are just doing Wi-Fi battles on Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee right now. As for me, doing them is, I don't even know if I want to do them, and even if I did, I mean, I kind of need to finish the game first, which I still haven't because I really haven't had the time to, you know, get through the game and all that, but I don't know. Anyway, so this is the battle, and as you can see, I'm actually going to be using the team that I actually used against Saki in Week 2 of the IBLD League. The reason why I used it was just because this guy doesn't do tiers, and I kind of don't want to use a team that's kind of like, you know, pretty strictly OYO or anything like that, because I feel like he's going to be one of those people who just uses literally whatever he wants, no matter how low tier they are. And that's pretty much what was the case here. So I just figured, let's just use this team that was only designated for Sock in the IBLD League. So I was just like, I want to see how well I do with it. I've done this stuff before, in fact. I've always actually used teams from draft leagues onto battles, whether they be Smogon or not. But as long as they're not in the draft format. But these battles, or these teams that I use, are from the draft format, basically. And I'm just trying them here in these battles where people tend to be more casual. So this battle was actually a bit of a travesty, though, I'll admit, and you're gonna find out why here in a bit. But here we go. This is gonna be your boy Liam. I think this guy's like the European version of Papacy because he likes to use low tier mons as well, kind of like Papacy does. So yeah, I'm gonna lead off with Houndoom right here. He's gonna lead off with Noivern, I think. Yeah, I think that's the name, Noivern. And I didn't expect him to lead with this for some reason, so I just hard switched into Jirachi, hoping he goes for a flying type move and not a fighting type move. He ends up going for Air Slash, which is really, really good for me. So what I'm going to do right here now is, because this Jirachi's Choice Scarf, I'm going to actually try to Iron Head flinch this thing. He actually got a crit with that Air Slash, which is actually kind of crazy. So I'm going to just go for the damage myself. He does not flinch, as you can see, and because of it, he's going to be able to retaliate with a flamethrower that thankfully isn't going to kill me. And I'm just going to actually now go for another Iron Head, hoping this time for the flinch. And if not, then at least I crippled the Noivern enough to actually take it out with anything else later. So as you can see, I don't get the flinch yet again, which pretty much shows my luck, honestly. And Jirachi is going to go down with another flamethrower. So here I'm now going to send out the Decidueye, and I was hoping that because this guy doesn't really do Smogon battles, I was hoping that he probably wouldn't see Shadow Sneak coming, but I think he did, and he just ends up switching out right here and goes into the Muck here. Now this Muck easily eats up the Shadow Sneak, and because I'm forced to switch out now, it's inevitable that he'll go for knockoff here, but I need to send in something that I feel might not need its item in the long run, and that mon is Nidoking. And plus, Nidoking not only can take a knockoff, but can potentially retaliate with an Earth Power on this Muck if he happens to stay in, which I don't know if he would, honestly. It just really depends on how good he is at the game, which I still didn't know, honestly. But here he's going to switch out and go into Chandelure, and you're going to see right here, this thing has an air balloon, which if he predicted Earth Power, that's actually a really, really smart play of his part. But I actually decided to just go for Rocks instead because looking at his team, he doesn't really seem to have that many like hazard removers, aside from maybe Mega Aerodactyl or Aerodactyl. It really depends if it's Mega or not. And it can have Defog, but if he doesn't, then he really just has nothing for Rocks, basically, to deal with Rocks, basically. Here I hard switched into Houndoom because I didn't want to take a Fire or Ghost type moves. And he actually ends up going for Flamethrower, which boosts my Fire type moves. But he's going to easily hard switch into Royo3 here, which is the Sea King. I wanted to just go for Dart Pulse. I didn't feel the need to go for Flamethrower, even though I got the boost. So I just went for Dart Pulse. And here, I feel like maybe, just maybe, I should have stayed in. But I didn't want to because I didn't want to take a Water type move. So I went into the Decidueye. I wanted to see if he had Scald or something. But he would actually end up going for something else here, as you can see. He ends up going for Aqua Ring, which actually ends up giving it a lot of HP and, like, you know, after every turn, kind of like leftovers. It's basically a leftovers where you kind of have to like activate it and all that. So yeah, I didn't want to deal with that, so I just switched out the Decidueye, thinking he'll switch out, right? Because he doesn't want to take a Leaf Blade. But he actually stays in, goes for Protect, I guess, to, you know, get leftovers and Aqua Ring recovery, which is actually kind of crazy. That's kind of a crazy set right there. So we're gonna go for an attack here. The reason why I stayed in going for an attack was just because I wanted some damage on this thing, because seeing how he's getting recovery from Aqua Ring and leftovers, I figured this thing is getting a lot of its HP back way too quick, and I didn't want to just let that happen. So I wanted to just weaken this thing to the point where I don't have to worry about, you know, this thing being very, very much of a problem. However, here I decided to, you know what, just switch out again, expecting maybe like another protect or something. But he ends up just going for the waterfall or something here. And it doesn't do too much damage, which is nice. And I think at this point is where I figured out its entire moveset. I think it had like Aqua Ring, it had Waterfall, and I think it had something else. I forgot what the other moves were. Actually, no, there was one move he didn't reveal that he's going to go for right here, right now. I decided to go for Swords Dance because I was thinking if he protects again, I'm just going to Swords Dance in his face. But he actually stays in and goes for the Poison Jab, which was the last move on this thing. I forgot what that other move was, the other one that it had, but because I know there was one move that he revealed earlier. I don't know, but either way, I just go for the Leaf Blade right here and take out the Sea King. Thankfully, he stays in because that just allows me to take it out. However, I think the reason he let it go down was so that he can bring in Aerodactyl here safely, as opposed to having to take a hit, especially because I'm already set up at +2. So here, because I don't want to switch out for having set up to +2, I decided to just stay in, let the Sidewhite go down, and just get as much damage as possible on this Aerodactyl, with Shadow Sneak taking advantage of the fact that Aerodactyls don't get priority moves, and I can just take it out with a Shadow Sneak. Here he's going to go for Crunch, take out my Decidueye, because unfortunately my Decidueye is an offensive one, not a defensive one. I think if it was defensive, I might have been able to take this Crunch, but because it's not, it definitely does not, so I just have to go into Galvantula. This Galvantula is Sash, and he never got any hazards up on my side of the field, so he's definitely in danger with this Sash Galvantula, potentially just going for an electrical move. Because of that, he ends up trying to predict here, expecting an electric move from my Galvantula, and goes into Electivire. And fortunately for me, I was going to say unfortunately for me, but it's fortunately for me, I actually predicted this and actually went for the Hidden Power Ice, which is super effective on Mega Aerodactyl, and I could have still taken it out anyways, which is why I went for it. But here, I switch out because I don't want to lose the Sash on my Galvantula just yet, and switch in Nidoking, kind of to sack it. Like, best case scenario is that he has nothing for me and I can just take it out with Earth Power, but if he does have something for Nidoking, in the case of Earthquake like he does, then I'll just have to lose Nidoking. I was fine with either way. The intention here was just to sack Nidoking if it just happened to have something for my Nidoking. So here now is where I decided to sit in Gallade, because Gallade will outspeed this Electivire, because it's not Scarfed clearly, and I can just go for the close combat, and looking at what's left of his team, nothing's going to appreciate a close combat, so I'm convinced he will let this thing go down here. And that's exactly what happens, and I go for close combat. Because of Electivire's very poor physical defense stat, it definitely takes out, it definitely goes down to a close combat. So here, the Electivire goes down, and now here he's gonna send out the, this thing, Noivern. I think here he forgot that the rocks were up, so he kind of just sent this thing in for no reason. He wasn't, like, aware of the rocks because, you know, there was so much going on. But here he's now going to send in the Muck, and I was thinking, okay, he probably just wants to go for a Gunk Shot now that I'm at -1, so I'm just going to switch out, and I'm going to go straight into my Galvantula. And I don't need the Sash anymore, because even though he still has Aerodactyl, which can outspeed and do a lot of damage, it's already weakened to the point where rocks are just going to take it out on switching, because looking at what's left of his team, he doesn't have any way to get rid of rocks. So I'm pretty much safe in losing the Sash from Galvantula, and just going for a powerful Thunder just to get as much damage on this thing as possible so that Gallade can safely take it out. However, unfortunately for me, he does have the 50-50 berry, in this case the Yapapa berry, which indicates to me that this Muck is not only defensive, but also probably is of the Gluttony variety, which allows it to recycle the berry to, you know, get it back basically. So I went into Gallade here, and unfortunately the only play I could make here is just go for Swords Dance, because like I said, this Muck could be defensive and might be able to take a close combat from Mega Gallade, so I decided to just go for the Swords Dance here. Here, I think he misplayed and ended up going for Recycle, because there was literally no reason for him to go for it now that Mega Gallade's out in the field, because this thing can set up and just take it out. As a result, here I just take this thing out with a close combat, and Mega Aerodactyl is going to go down to rocks, and I think his last mon, which was the Chandelure, is going to go down to rocks as well, and we already know it's not Scarf because of the air balloon that we saw earlier, and we should be able to take it out with a knockoff afterwards, because it's carrying an item, in this case the air balloon, and again it's not Scarf, so that means we can actually outspeed it. So that's gonna be the whole game. Good game to AceTrainerLiam right there. That was actually a pretty interesting battle, because honestly I heard that he wasn't gonna do that he doesn't do Smogon battles. I was thinking, I'm probably gonna easily beat this guy, but I just wanted to battle him anyways, just because it's It's an Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon battle, and not a whole lot of people are doing these now. But he actually kind of gave me a fight, a little bit of a fight here, despite everything. And plus, it was also good that I was actually using this team as opposed to anything else, honestly. Because if I use something like that, that Halucha Tapu Lele core team that I used in OU, I don't know what would happen in this battle, honestly. Maybe this battle would be a lot shorter or something, I don't know. But because I used this team that was only designated for one opponent in a draft league, it actually kind of gave me a pretty intense fight, to say the least, honestly. But yeah, anyways, that's going to be the whole game. Thank you all for watching this battle. Hope to catch you guys in the next battle, but for now, just take it easy.